Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here and it's Tuesday the 7th of February. Got a slightly different format to the video for you today. Been taking in all your feedback over the last couple of months, and I thought we'd just swap things around a little bit today. What I thought we'd do is start off with a detailed forecast for the coming days, so just a normal basic forecast, and then get into the technical stuff during the second half of the video, so you can drop in and drop out whenever you want to, and let me know what you think of the new format. You can feed in via the webpage and just put your comments on there about whether this works. As always, the site is kept completely free of charge by the adverts that you see around, so if you see an advert that you like, do click on it, go through to the advertiser. It generates revenue for us and shows the advertiser that you're interested in what they're advertising. Okay, so let's take you forward then through the next few days and show you how things are developing. These are the charts from weatheronline.co.uk, and we've got the time up there in the top left hand corner. Charts have got the isobars on, excuse me, and also areas of rainfall marked on there as well. And you can see how as of this morning we've got high pressure extending right the way through from Russia, across Scandinavia, down through the North Sea, through the UK and to the west of Iberia. Now as we run the sequence on, you'll notice that high pressure stays in situ, but notice how the winds are starting to come in more from an easterly direction. Winds rotating around this area of high pressure like so, so they're coming in from the east, rotating around the area of high pressure, and notice how, look, that northeasterly flow develops across the south. I'll show you more of that in just a moment. That's colder air coming in, and that means that we're in for a really cold night tonight. Temperatures widely down to -7, -8 degrees. Into Wednesday then, we see increasing cloud across northern and western Scotland, bringing milder conditions. Milder too through Ireland with some outbreaks of rain here, but across much of England and Wales and eastern Scotland it looks like we're set dry. We're set cold too, with high pressure hanging on. In fact, that high pressure holds on, look, overnight into Thursday, so another severe frost to come for England and Wales. This front though, just tracking into southern parts of Scotland, the far north of England, through Ireland too, and that probably has the effect of just lifting temperatures a touch. So the frost not so severe across Scotland and Ireland and the far north of England, but again down to the south, -9 is quite possible by Thursday morning. Into Thursday itself, we stay generally dry. I think more cloud around and probably an increased risk of some fog developing across England and Wales. And notice how that front has come further south. Look, see those areas of rain there getting into northern Wales and southern Ireland. I think cloud really is the story of the day on Thursday, and it really is going to be feeling cold because of that. Scotland is going to become drier, colder there too during the course of Thursday, drier elsewhere. And then another bitter night overnight into Friday, although more cloud around, so not quite as cold. But I think the problem will be that with clouds still lingering into Friday itself, Friday really is going to be struggling to get above freezing across many parts of England, Wales and eastern Scotland. A little area of low pressure moves into Western Ireland on Friday. Yes, low pressure at 1024 millibars. It's not often we see that, is it? But in it comes, look, from the west, brings more cloud and some outbreaks of rain, perhaps even some sleet across western coasts at times. But to the east, look, we stay under the influence of this dry, cold weather, so still staying dry across England and Wales. Into Saturday, well, the front's moving back into Scotland, Northern Ireland, western parts of Wales and the far southwest of England. This is rain, sleet, bits of snow across the hills, but dry and cold still, look, for England and Wales. And then into Sunday, well, a front drifts its way southwards. Now, by then we're starting to pick up a milder airflow. It's coming in off the sea, look, developing over the Bay of Biscay, coming up across the country. The ground's still very cold, so I think Sunday could be turning into a really murky day, quite a miserable day. We've got drizzle around southern and western coasts, I think inland rather cloudy, some fog around too, and a cold day as well, with that ground still cold, but air temperatures starting to rise. I think by the end of the day, probably could be up to 4 or 5 degrees in the south, nearer 6 or 7 across Scotland. So we are seeing a rise in temperature, and that looks set to be lasting into next week. Look, the flow coming more in from the southwest, but it's probably only a temporary feature. Watch what happens. Look, the high re-establishes itself to the north and tries to link into the high pressure which is left across France. Now, this presents an interesting situation because look at this front moving its way southwards during the course of Tuesday and into Wednesday. This is cold air coming south, meeting warmer air tied in with an area of low pressure coming through the Bay of Biscay, and that is the result. Now, that brings the threat of an area of snow, of significant snowfall, across parts of the country. I think particularly at the moment the threat area looks to be England and Wales. Probably some snow showers coming to these eastern coasts if this comes off. Obviously still very early days, but we're looking at the potential middle of next week for things to go cold again and for a significant area of snow to develop across the south of the country. So let me just show you what I mean. This is the snowfall forecast from the site that you're on now. If you go to the top of the screen, click on weather charts there, and then if you come to the left and click on GFS operational UK snow, then it brings up the forecast for you. There we go, and then you can just go through that using the controls here. So this is the snow depth forecast for 12 o'clock today, and you can see how the resolution of the model is not particularly great, but there is still snow lying in these areas, and 3 and 4 centimetres is a reasonable figure, so it's got a reasonable start. As we knock it on in 6-hour steps, you'll notice how the snow kind of tends to melt away a little bit, look, as we get through into the 10th and the 11th of February, so getting into Saturday and the weekend. And then watch what happens into next week. The snow melts away, but then by the time we get through towards the middle part of next week, just watch what happens. Down it comes. That's Tuesday, look. Here's an area of snow moving southwards through Tuesday, and here it comes, look, into central and southern parts of the country by the time we're getting into Tuesday and into Wednesday. Now, confidence is low on this, but it's something that we have to consider, and the reason I'm considering it as well is because if we look at the models, look at the ECMWF to take us beyond this, and let's go through. This is midnight tonight, so this is midnight Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday, look, going more into a northwest with a high to the west. Tuesday, proper northwesterly coming in, so this is the start of that cold air. And then Wednesday, look, low pressure to the east. Now, this is different to the model that I showed you before, which was the GFS, but still this idea of this cold north to northwesterly bringing in this threat of snow during the middle part of next week. And that's the shape of things on the Canadian model too. It's going for similar things. If you want to have a look yourself, just come down the left hand side here, click on the Canadian GEM, and you can go through the charts there, and you'll be able to see that there's a similar result. So what does this mean? Well, if we take a look at the let's have a look at the North Atlantic oscillation, and let's see where it takes us in the longer term. You can see that we go into neutral to positive territory on the NAO, so this is indicating that the westerlies are trying to get back in despite this cold air. Westerlies trying to get back into the middle and later part of the month, and then the Arctic oscillation, look, taking us into more positive territory, so less of a tendency for this cold air to get off the pole. And this is still playing into my way of thinking of how I think things are going to be. There's the 8-day average temperature running from today through till next Wednesday. Look, we've got below normal temperatures here of 2s and 3s, below normal across the UK and way below normal across much of Europe. This from Ryan Maui's website, by the way. And then if we look at the second week, getting towards the end of the month, then you'll be able to see here that we stay cold, or the GFS keeps us cold throughout this period. Now, it's this that I'm not entirely convinced about. I still hold to this idea that yes, there could be this cold snap next week, but I still hold to this idea of the milder air trying to get back in, and I'll try and explain more of my thinking through the musings. So overall then, that's what we've got to look forward to. A cold spell of weather coming up, going very, very cold during the next few hours and lasting through the next few days. Then we go milder, probably Saturday into Sunday and perhaps even Monday next week, but very murky with lots of mist and fog around. And then we need to have a watch out for the middle of next week for this cold air returning and the potential for a significant snow event across the British Isles. At the moment that looks focused towards the south. After that, I'm still going for the idea of some milder air trying to get back in. I say milder, but temperatures probably coming up to near or just below normal, although that's not supported by models, which is still going for things going colder again as we go into the second half of the month. So, hope that's been useful for you. I hope you like that new format, and thanks again for watching. Keep the sun shining, and don't forget, if you see an advert you like, click on it, go through to the advertiser. That generates revenue, keeps the site free of charge, and shows the advertiser that you're interested in what they're offering. Thanks for watching. Keep the sun shining. Bye for now.